Thanks for coming back to the third installment of the VC project. Growing up, the living room was one of my favorite spaces in the home, and I knew what I had to do to make this space mine. We started off by taking off the ceiling, wallpaper, and window treatments. After priming the ceiling and the walls, I went in with peppercorn on both sides of the fireplace. I used peppercorn as a base of my drop zone in episode 1, so if you haven't seen that episode, click on the card in the corner. I grew up decorating the mantle at my parents' home, so I knew that a mantle was a must here. I love stately mantles with texture and detail and appreciate how these marry a modern, monochromatic look with traditional fireplace features. The exaggerated texture of the flagstone made it impossible for me to pick up a pre-made mantle. Besides, this one was way out of my budget. Phase 1 of this mantle was simply getting a 6-foot shelf and a set of brackets up. This was okay for Christmas, but as you can see, there's a slight sag, hence phase 2. Phase 2 meant adding molding and a couple more supports. It has been about 2 days since I started working on cutting the pieces for the fireplace mantle here. Cutting that plastic molding was actually quite challenging. I thought I would just run a jigsaw to it, but because the surface isn't flat, it made it really hard, so I ended up using a miter box at a 45-degree angle, and David cut the main piece for me. I'm going to try to cut out the other pieces and then find ways to use furring strips to fortify the rest of the board. I have to also figure out the issue of the board kind of warping in the center. So let's go back to the drawing board here. The idea is that I take that piece of 6-foot shelf, I cut a divot to accommodate the flagstone and so the shelf could be flush to the wall, and then add furring strips to the underside to give it a little more support. After that, I add the molding and I have my beautiful mantle. So now that you know the plan, let's get to work. As you can see, the finished product is pretty light and I wanted to put it up to see how it would fit. Something just didn't look right at this point, so I had to make some adjustments. I decided to lower the mantle because it looked way too high, especially with 8-foot ceilings. So I filled the old holes up and had new ones drilled in. I'm just waiting for the paint to dry. In the meantime, I'm going to be putting caulk into the holes that were made by the brad nailer, and hopefully it makes it look a little bit cleaner.
Follow the signs, you're looking like a one-way. Gotta make the right choice. Hope I make the right choice.
We have made it to my favorite part where I pull out all the things I've collected together. This includes vintage matte picture frames with public art, some faux florals, and other fun things.
Slow down, hold on tight now. It's okay to meet me at the front line. I've got cold feet, winter drives me wild.
I found these vintage looking candle holders, however they were all the same height, so I had to find a way to add variation in height, and then I sanded and spray painted them. I have a slight obsession with throw pillows and blankets, so had to include these as well. Instead of buying new pillows every season, I usually sew covers and change them out. This season, I'm loving blues, blacks, and dark grays.
Dinner's gone cold, I don't care. We talk till the morning. I've got no sleep 'cause you drive.
Thanks so much for hanging in there. Remember what we started with? We are finally to the finish line.
You and I have a story, you know. Surely there are some turns on the road. Learn from all of the places we go. We know the only way is up. Through every storm.
We have reached the end of another VC Project episode. For other episodes, check the VC Project playlist and don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell for future episodes. What room do you think I should tackle next? Let me know down below. Bye!
We see